Auzubillahi minash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama barakta ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. रब शरह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली रब्बना ज़िदना इल्मा या मुक़ल्लिबुल क़ुलूब सब्बित क़ल्बी अला दीनिक. Ameen. In today's lesson, we'll do ayat number 6 and 7 of Surah Al-Fatiha. Surat al-lazina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim walazzallin. Ameen. Those who Many people claim to be following the straight path. However, Allah describes the straight path as the path of those whom you have favored. In verse 69 of Surah Nisa, Allah describes who are those whom He has favored. Allah says, "Whoso obey Allah and His Messenger, then they will be with those upon whom Allah has favored, from the Anbiya, Shuhada, and Salihin. These are indeed the best of companions. Therefore, the path treated by these people will be regarded as Siratul Mustaqim, nor the path of those who have incurred your wrath, nor those who have gone astray." This also describes the favored one because they are those who refrain from incurring Allah's wrath and who have not wandered astray. Ibn Kathir has reported certain narrations wherein Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam referred to the Jews as those who have incurred your wrath and the Christians as those who have gone astray. These interpretations have also been reported by Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Hazrat Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah that the Jews earned wrath upon them. Verse 90. Allah says in Surah Ma'idah, "Do not follow the whims of a nation who have strayed from before, have mislead others, and have themselves strayed from the straight path." Verse number 77. The Jews floated Allah's commands and opposed the truth, even though they possessed knowledge of the truth. The Christians, though they were not as learned, regarded themselves as deviant worships. They devised their own acts of devotion and to look to monasticism, secluding themselves in mountains and enduring many hardships in the process. However, failing to practice despite possessing and relevant knowledge is a serious crime. It is for this reason that the Jews have incurred Allah's wrath. Ibn Kathir rahimullah has written that in contrast to the above two nations, the Mu'mineen should be people who possesses the relevant knowledge and also practice upon it. He writes that although the Jews and the Christians have both incurred Allah's wrath and have both wandered astray, the Jews and especially despised on the other hand. The Christians have been specifically termed as having strayed because of their misguided behavior. The mischief and rebelliousness of the Jews is discussed in detail in Surah Al-Baqarah and other surahs. Each incident demonstrates how they continually and purposely invited Allah's wrath upon themselves. Therefore, the Muslims have been advised to pray to Allah in every salah to save themselves from following the ways of the Jews and the Christians. Muslims should now ponder if they are actually averse to the ways of Jews and Christians as they should, and if they are closely emulating the lifestyles of favorite servants of Allah. in the mannerisms, attire, politics, business, lifestyle, and in fact in every way, Muslims ape to behavior of the Jews and Christians. Even reputable and righteous people ape their ways despite reciting Surah Al-Fatiha in every rakah of their salah. Sages have mentioned that the qualities of the Jews will enter Muslim scholars who deviate, while the qualities of Christians will enter the lives of the general Muslim public when they deviate. May Allah save us all. Ameen. Apart from the ways of those described as favored, the ways of all other people are regarded as deviant. It will therefore be necessary for all Muslims to stay clear of them, irrespective of their political and religious status. Muslims have been encouraged in this verse to stay aloof from the Jews and Christians because of the danger of inclining towards them. It is necessary that the ways of mushrikeen and atheists remain reprehensible to all Muslims. The descriptions, the description instead of the name of these two religious fictions have been mentioned in the verse of the following two reasons. Number one, to depict that deviation from the ways of the Anbiya alayhi salam, and the righteous and the martyrs will lead one astray and earn Allah's wrath. Number two, to illustrate that emulating the ways of other like the Jews and the Christians will also lead to the Allah's wrath. The recitation of Ameen. It is sunnah to recite Ameen after Surah Al-Fatiha while performing Salah and even when not performing Salah. The meaning of Ameen is, O Allah, do accept. Therefore, two du'as are being made, the first being the dua itself, and the second being the dua for the acceptance of one's dua, that is, the recitation of Ameen. Malumati Tanzil, Volume 1, page 42 reports that Ameen should be recited a little while after the concluding words of Surah Al-Fatiha, so that it may not be confused as being part of the surah. The word Ameen is not written in the Quran because it is not part of the Quran. Hazrat Aisha Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anha reports that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that the thing which the Jews envy most is the recitation of Ameen. Hazrat Abu Huraira Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu reports from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that the Jews envy the following three things of the Muslim. Number one, greeting everyone. Number two, forming safs, rows when performing salah, and number three, saying Ameen. So, some non-Muslims, it is to be noted, have raised the objection that it is improper for Allah to praise Himself. Commentators have mentioned that Surah Al-Fatiha is actually meant to be praised for Allah on the lips of mu'mineen. Therefore, the surah is preceded by the silent phrase, say, wherein Allah instructs people to hymn His praises. They say that this is the reason why the second half of the surah is spoken by the first person. However, while this reply may suffice for Surah Al-Fatiha, it is not sufficient to reply to the many other verses of the Quran where Allah praises Himself. It will also not reply to the same objection when raised with regard to a hadith, wherein Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam states, O Allah, I cannot praise you sufficiently. You are as you have praised yourself. The reply to this question is that the Creator cannot be judged by the standards of the creation, while the creation cannot praise themselves. Allah has every right to do so because He is most deserving of all praises. Man has been forbidden from praising himself because it would lead to him to it would lead to pride and haughtiness. This will eventually lead him to forget Allah's greatness. On the other hand, none can ever come close to competing with Allah, let alone supersede Him. If he praises himself, it cannot lead to any evil, while a proud person merely pretends to be perfect. Allah is perfect and the absolute greatest. Therefore, the term used for many cannot apply to him. Surah Al-Fatiha is a cure. One of the name of Surah Al-Fatiha is Shafiya, that is the curer. Just as the word spiritually heals the heart of a believer, it also heals the physical body. Hazrat Sa'd bin Yazid Rahimullah reports that Rasulullah Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu reports that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam once recited Surah Al-Fatiha and blew on him so that he may be saved from diseases. Hazrat Abu Sayyid Khudri Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu says that Surah Al-Fatiha is an effective antidote of poisons. Hazrat Abdul Malik bin Umayyah Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu narrates that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Fatiha al-Kitab is a cure for everything. The book Hisnul Hasin reports that Abu Dawud and Nasai, who say that Surah Al-Fatiha should be repeatedly recited upon a mentally deranged a person in the morning and evening. The person reciting it should then blow on the patient in an inner that a few droplets of saliva also fall on the patient. This will inshallah will be a cure. Tirmizi reports that Surah Al-Fatiha should be recited recited 7 times upon one smitten by a scorpio or snake. Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu reports that some Sahaba Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhum were once on a journey when a person from a nearby locality was stung by a scorpion. The locals asked to the Sahaba whether any of them knew of any cure. One of the Sahabi Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu recited Surah Al-Fatiha and blew on the person, thereby curing him. He was rewarded with some goats in lieu of his service. When his companions saw him returning with the goats, they disliked it because they felt that he had acquired wealth by using Allah's book. When they reported the matter to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, Allah's book is the most worthy of acquiring wealth from all things whereby you acquire wealth. Bukhari, Volume 2, page number 854. Reciting Al-Fatiha for safety at night. Hazrat Ans Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu reports that the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, when any of you lies down to rest at night, he will be safe from everything besides death if he recites Fatiha al-Kitab and Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Surah Ikhlas. Wa akhiru dawana, may Allah give us tawfiq to recite Surah Al-Fatiha before sleeping every night. Wa akhiru dawana, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, Allahumma ighfir li muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.